Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our special two-part programme about the Great Western Greenway. Last week we started off in the town of Westport and made our way to Newport and finished off in the Nathan Mountains. Now we continue our journey along the Greenway to meet owner and operator of Navan's Newfield Inn, John Navan.
We took over the business in 1971. Previous to that, it was owned by the Gibbons family for 2-3 generations, and I took over the business from my parents in 2002, where we were situated in rural Ireland. We had to look at other means of, generating income. So we went into accommodation and food. That was our two new areas, and that's basically what we're continuing with to this day. The Greenway has been a huge support to us here in Tiernar. And we're actually midpoint on the Greenway from Westport to Akal. And the Greenway was opened in 2009, and that was basically in the height of the recession. So it was very welcome to have come along at that time, was because it meant it brought additional people into the area, particularly during the summer months. This area is fairly up and coming from the point of view is you have your Greenway, you have the Wild Atlantic Way. You have also the local loop walks which at the back of our premises here. We have loop walks that stretch from Mulranny to Newport. So basically, you could be up there on the mountain all day, and you wouldn't be. You'd have plenty of walking to do without going over your tracks again. The loop walks are also connected with the Greenway, so you can basically pick out and choose what distance that you'd like to walk. If you want to do 4k, 8k or 12k, that's up to yourself, really. We got together with a local landowner and we put in a track from the premises here onto the Greenway. I think we're probably, the distance from the Greenway to here is about 600 metres. So it's not that far, particularly when you're on a bicycle.
After taking in the views of the Greenway behind the inn, it was time to move on again. The next stop is the beautiful village of Mulranny, where I'm going to meet the General Manager of the Mulranny Park Hotel, Dermot Madigan. Dermot, how has the Greenway benefited the hotel here?
The hotel has been operating for well over 100 years, and the redeveloped railway line has given not only the hotel but I think the whole area, the community and the whole way along the Greenway a whole new lease of life. And it's just added another attraction for people to come and do when they come to this part of Mayo. On a beautiful day like today, there's nothing like getting on your bike or going for a walk along the Greenway.
And do you find that many of the guests staying in the hotel here, do they like to participate on the Greenway?
Yeah, absolutely. When I started here about 9 years ago, you'd never see a bike on any backs of the cars or outside the apartments, and now every single apartment and almost well over 56% of the cars come with bikes on them. So they come with the intention of cycling, walking and using the Greenway when they come and stay with us.
Would that be an important part of your business now?
Hugely. One of our major market segments would be families, and having more for them to do when they come and stay with us. The Greenway added that extra layer, so now they come and they see Greenway as a little bit of a challenge for families, and it just gives another reason for people to come and stay with us and visit the area.
Another aspect of the Greenway over the last few years, I know you're very involved in this as well, has been the gourmet events throughout the year along the Greenway.
After the Greenway opened, the Great Western Greenway, we formed a little collaboration of food producers and venues along the Greenway called the Gourmet Greenway, and that started out with 6 members, and now that's grown to 20 members. And we have we've developed a guide that people can just travel along the Greenway, either walk, cycle, or even drive alongside it, and visit like the butcher, the cheesemaker, Parry Cannon's Kirkpatrick Seafoods, or Jerry Hassett's Smokehouse, and get a real taste for Mayo when they come to the area. And we developed just 2 years ago then an events guide, so it gives it life throughout the year. So anything from March to October, there's a series of events in various places along the way, in Newport, Westport, and here ourselves, and accumulates in a showcase dinner here in the hotel.
For people coming here now want to stay at the hotel, what are the facilities here, and how many do you cater for?
Well, we have 40 bedrooms in the hotel. We have 20 Seaview apartments just to our right hand side here with a view of the bay. And then we have a leisure centre. We have a wonderful waterfront bar here, an excellent award-winning restaurant, and a superb team waiting for everyone to come. We're going to welcome over 70 weddings this year to the hotel, which is a very, very good number we've had, and the business looks very strong for the next year and on beyond.
Any future developments for the Greenway that you'd like to see?
For European visitors coming to us, they'd like to see longer cycleways, so to try and link the cycleways with Akal and further on in Westport, and perhaps into Castlebar from here would hopefully add more reason for people to come and stay with us, because European visitors like to have a long cycle, and 42 kilometres is long for some people, but others they do it before breakfast.
Wow. Another link between the Mulranny Park Hotel and the Greenway is the old station house building, situated just behind the hotel. The building was recently refurbished and is now buzzing with life again after decades of being left idle.
Through a collaboration between the Fáilte Ireland and Mayo County Council and ourselves, the railway house, which would have been derelict for well over 60 years, got funding to be redeveloped, and now it sits back to its former glory. I think it's a credit to everyone involved in bringing it back to life, and now it's an activity centre, and it really adds another level of excellence to the Greenway as a centre for people to use for facilities, toilets, showers, and also the outdoor activities like bike hire and windsurfing and everything else that happens in the area.
One business making use of the building is Clube Bike Hire, so I've decided to pay them a visit and chat to one of the co-founders, Travis Zeri.
We started off in Westport back in 2010. We opened actually the week before the Greenway opened. We started off with 60 bikes in total. That was adults and kids and the whole works. And we've done our best to grow as sustainably as possible. So in the last 8 years, we've opened another 4 shops. We've gone from 60 bikes to 525 some odd, you know. And like I said, we have a shop in each town along the way. So you can cycle as much or as little as you want of the trail, and we're always there to help you out. We started to service the Greenway, so we're very much invested in the success of the Greenway. Year on year, it's growing every year. But like I mentioned before, it's growing sustainably. So it's not growing to a point where it's going to be the Camino by any chance, but we don't want it that packed. So, you know, I'd say in the first couple of years, you'd have 200,000-300,000 doing the Greenway, and I'd say we're about 350,000 now. The Greenway is going to get bigger. In my opinion, it's this year it's going to be going on to Akal Island. I have I think in the next couple of years it's going to go out the opposite direction on the other side of Clube, out to Louisburg and into Connemara. So I could potentially see us opening another maybe 4 or 5 shops within the next 5 years. But again, we're enjoying what we do. We bring people out, we have a good time. We're not trying to get ahead of ourselves. We're just doing what we do. We try to do it well. The Greenway to Seaway is an initiative we came up with in 2011. Basically, it incorporates all the best of what this area has to offer. So you can take your bike, cycle the beautiful Great Western Greenway, finish up in Akal Island and hop on a private fishing charter that will pick you up, bring you all the way back to Westport, looking for dolphins and seals and catching a few mackerel. You can pop into one of the local restaurants back in the quay. We're actually working with the Helm at the moment. We're using their boat. So once you arrive back into Westport Quay, you pop in, you might have caught a few mackerel, like I said, along the way. Pop into the Helm restaurant and Vinny and Shane will cook the fish up for you, and sit down and relax and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Obviously, you talk to a lot of your customers when they've cycled the Greenway. What's the general reaction from people that have experienced it for the first time?
The beauty of what we do is there's such an age demographic to our customers. So initially when we opened the business, we thought it was going to be young families and mums and dads getting to spend a bit of quality time with their kids. But we're getting a lot more of the older demographic is sort of filling our off season, and the younger demographic is our busy season. But what I suppose, back to your question, pure joy. It's pure joy. They're out, they're enjoying nature. They have the views, they have the scenery, they have everything they want. It's just safe cycling and family spending time together.
Okay, it's time for us to take a quick break, but join us again in part 2, where we will be going from the Greenway to the Seaway. Falter, you're very welcome back to part 2 of our Greenway special here on iMayo.TV. Having just found out a bit more about the cycling options, I decided to see what other forms of transport are available along the Greenway, which is why I've come here to Ballycrogher Sailing Club, where I'm going to have a chat with Seamus Butler. You've launched a new initiative here, the waterways to the Greenway. It sounds exciting.
Well, it is, but it's gone back to a very old concept. Like, there was always a connection between here and the railway line. There was a ferry service run by Peggy Lynchahon, Peggy McIntyre's her maiden name, in Tunragee. People from Ballycroy, Erris in general, if they wanted to cross over to get the train, they'd raise a flag on this side and Peggy would row over and collect them. So the concept of waterway to Greenway it's a very old one. We're just reintroducing something that officially ceased around 1934 when the train stopped running and bus transport was better. Prior to that, if someone from Erris wanted to travel to get the train, instead of going through Mulranny, they just raised a flag on the Claggan side at Claggan Ferry. Peggy Lynchahon, Liam McIntyre would row across and collect them, bring them to the train, or to the main road where they could get a lift or a bus into Achill Sound. And it's great that we can reconnect now with this waterway to Greenway.
So how does it work then?
It has evolved with our boating and sailing club. And our natural pick-up point was the Fish Road, which was the old collection point for the railway line. And as our membership has grown and more people are coming, it's a pick-up there. Sometimes the kids bring their bikes and we bring them here. This waterway to Greenway evolved slowly over some time. That it was our natural collection point for kids from Achill and Tunragee. We picked them up at this Fish Road siding of the Greenway and bring them here. And then other times kids from here would want to go on the Greenway and we just dropped them over there. So we thought, why not take the next step and open it up to the public in general. So if you're cycling Mulranny to Achill, Achill to Mulranny, you now have the option of taking the Claggan Ferry, coming to Ballycroy. You're onto very safe, quiet county roads and you can cycle to the National Park, take in the solar walk here, or maybe some of our astronomy lessons, which are all part of an evolving process here, and we can be dropped back later in the evening.
And it's a short journey, isn't it?
It's about 2 minutes. Even today now there's some challenging conditions on the south side, but once you get into the north side it's very calm. So it's regarded as smooth water.
And is it growing more and more popular now?
There seems to be a great demand for it, and a lot of the cycle hire people are interested in promoting it.
So when they arrive down here, they say they want to take the boat trip from the nearest point of the Greenway, how do they get in touch with you?
They can contact the local bike hire firms, or can look on our Facebook page, or call me myself on IO number.
So that's the future now.
We hope so. It's something that's it's a natural evolvement, and it also brings us back to the history of the place.
Just like those using the Tunragee ferry, we too are going to cross the water now to Achill and the last phase of our journey along the Greenway. Well, I've arrived at the village of Keel on Akal Island now to visit the Akal Experience and have a chat with CEO Terence Dever.
The Akal Experience is a new visitor attraction that opened here in April 2016. Since we opened, we have put 40,000 people through our doors. The visitor centre has many storyboards, all relevant to Achill. We have an audio-visual with the shark fishing industry, the film on the first train and the last train coming to Achill. We also have an exhibition of first prints of paintings by a famous artist, Robert Hinroy.
And you get a lot of visitors that do the Greenway to come and want to enjoy the Akal Experience as part of the Greenway.
We would get quite a lot of visitors that come on the Greenway and would come on down to here, either with one of the bike hire companies or they would cycle down to here. Last year we had people cycle all the way from Louisburgh into Westport and Westport down to here and left here around 6 o'clock in the evening and back up to Louisburgh.
If people want more information about the Akal Experience, what do they need to do?
Go on our website or on our Facebook page or contact Akal Tourism.
One of the major attractions for the Akal Experience is the Aquarium, which is looked after by expert Tom Honeyman.
The idea was to showcase just exactly what's in the sea around, because although people live on an island, and of course Ireland itself is an island, they're not always aware of what's actually in the sea that may well be on their doorstep.
And the fishermen have been a great supporter of...
The fishermen have been excellent, yeah. At the end of the day, we would find it difficult to do it without the fishermen. And of course if they find anything that they think that we might be interested in, or anything that we particularly need or want, then yeah, usually they'll come up trumps, and they're there to give us that bit of assistance.
You have a couple of exotic fish here in the tanks as well. What do visitors, what attracts them mostly? What type of fish do they like to see?
Well, children of course, they're all into their cartoons and such like TV and whatever, and of course they're all trying to find Nemo and they're trying to find Dory. So the smaller ones, and some of the bigger ones as well, some of the adults are quite keen on finding Nemo and Dory, so that would be one of the tanks that they would head for first of all. Yeah.
Just give viewers an idea the type of fish that's here.
Well, at the moment we would have native fish, somewhere around about maybe 35-40 species at any time in the bay, just Keel Bay or around the island. There would be at least 60 different types of fish. So we have little sharks, cat sharks, and conger eels. We also have the more commercial fish as well, such as cod, pollock, coalfish. There's little gobies, rock pool stuff. There's all sorts of hermit crabs. We have various types of crustaceans, and of course including our famous coloured lobsters, which have proved to be quite a big attraction, of course. Standard colour of a lobster would be dark blue, almost black. But of course these guys are so unique in their coloration that yeah, they've attracted a huge interest from the public. Yeah.
What's your own favourite?
My own favourite, it's hard to say because every fish Every creature that lives in the sea has its own story, and they all have their own unique abilities and capabilities, and I'm very drawn to the blue lobster, though, I must admit.
Also making use of the water here in Akal are those who like to engage in water sports such as kite surfing. One business that provides that service, amongst other things, is Pure Magic and its owner Francois Colucci.
Pure Magic Akal is, so that's where we are here. That's our little piece of heaven. We've been here since 2010, and it has started as a kite surfing center, and then little by little has developed into a lodge and a restaurant and a family little peaceful place where you can just come and relax and disconnect from the rest of the world and the crazy technology. So our water sports are like kite surfing, stand-up paddleboarding are very fast-growing sports, and Mayo and Akal Island is one of the best places in the world. For water sports, it's just paradise because you've got the lake for beginners or for advanced, you've got the sea, you've got every side there is something different, and you've got the landscape. So kite surfing, stand-up paddleboarding, very fast-growing sports, and yeah, Akal is just a perfect destination for it. The whole idea of like Pure Magic is to bring people into a different experience, but it's also based on what we have here on Akal Island. And we believe that there is a bit for everyone. So if you're an adrenaline junkie, then you're gonna do like this really hardcore sports and fast and high and like the kite surfing. Then you want to go a bit for mellow excursions, you go and do an excursion in stand-up paddleboarding. Then you do the Greenway. Then so you have like romantic or you have family. Then you can do a hike, you can do the horse riding, you can do the surfing. There are so many things. And then obviously we love the music, we love the good food, and we just love good times. The Greenway has been a huge success and has been bringing for the last few years now like so many people into Akal Island, or Mayo in general. Is one of the most successful projects beside the Wide Atlantic Way actually. And it's great to see year after year like this initiative getting more and more popular and spreading around around Mayo and growing and inspiring. Huge success.
And you've done the Greenway a number of times yourself.
Yes, I'm normally much more comfortable on the water, but I do enjoy my little bicycle ride, and I've done it like a few times with the family, with the young one and the old one, and it's great. It's between Akal Islands and Newport, Mulroney. You can stop, you go through all the different landscapes, and you see lots of many beautiful things there.
So that brings us to the end of the programme and indeed our trip along the Greenway. If you are yet to experience Mayo in this way, then all I can say is get on your bike.
There's no smoke, there's no rails, just the wild daffodils by the side of the old Akal line.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. Thank you for watching. So until the next time, slán go fóill.
By the side of the old Akal line, there's no smoke, there's no rails, just the wild daffodils by the side of the old Akal line, by the side of the old